Hey guys, welcome to episode 7 of Creative to Creative. I'm here with Mel Swimbananas.
Hello, it me. I exist.
She's an awesome creative. I've met her as a cosplayer. She is also the associate. What is your job title?
I am an influencer manager.
At Rito.
Yee.
Yee.
That's me. It me. Hello. Hello, hello, hello.
So
How you doing, friend?
you might you might know her through a Tyler One meme. You also might know her from different other things. And Mel is just an awesome person. I love her energy whenever I meet her at convention. And it's one of those things
Thank
where
you.
like the first time I met you, it was like it was at WonderCon 2017, and like you were Timo and like Sarah was Vagar, and
Yeah.
and I was like, hey, can I take a picture of you guys? and
Yee.
and then like I was like, they're really cool, and then I didn't know that they were associated with the company, but at the same time I was like, they're really cool cosplayers.
Yeah. Timo was, fun fact, the first league cosplay I ever made.
Really
Fun facts with Mel.
fun facts.
First league cosplay I ever made, and I wore it at Worlds and got to be in a cosplay music video. That's how you
Hey,
break in, man. That's how you do it.
so so like all right, like when did you get to Rito?
I've
What?
been working at Riot since September 18th, 2015. So we're coming up 4 days from now will be my 5-year anniversary.
Oh, very cool. And like,
Yep.
were you an avid fan of the game? Did you play
Oh
before?
yeah, I've been playing League of Legends since 2011. I've
Oh
been
wow, since
playing since Ari was released. Ari was on her free week rotation right after she released when I started the game. So
that's like season one.
very long time.
So what?
Problem.
So what? Because like I started when Quinn was released, but so like that was like season three.
Hmm.
But like when it comes to the game, what do you like playing for League
Oh,
of
I
Legends?
play AD carries, but I want to make it very clear I am very bad at everything I attempt to do. I am very proudly wearing my bronze ranked sweatshirt from last season. I climbed to bronze. I started in iron. I placed iron 4 and climbed to bronze 2
Yeah,
all season.
like
Judge me.
don't, cause like all right, so like
I am bad.
for me like when it comes to video games and like life in general, like I'm the type of person that like when like I need to smack my face against the cactus repeatedly to know that it hurts.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Mm-hmm.
I spent like 400 games in bronze, like
Oh,
legitimately like climbing out trying to figure
I
out.
don't want to know how many games I played in bronze, and that's okay. You know what? It's vibing. I'm one of those people that didn't play ranked very consistently or very seriously for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I played ranked for maybe a season in 2013,
Mm,
placed in silver, and then never played again until last year. And then
yeah.
I was like, I want to try. And coming into a game, what 9 years, 10 years in a ranked ladder, everybody is really good and understands exactly what they should be doing at all given times. So it's kind of hard to learn a little bit sometimes, which is why I stream it because then I make everybody else feel better. That at least they're not as bad as I am.
It's
At least
fun.
no matter what you're doing better than me. That'll always make you feel better. That's why I stream. Just to be like, yo, learn with me and feel better about everything that you attempt to do on me.
Go. What is it? I'm gonna plug her Twitch link right here. Go ahead, follow, and like
Twitch.tv/Swimbananas. It's
there
right
you
there.
go. And when it
You're welcome.
and then like my 3 viewers are gonna be like, yeah, let's go, let's go watch Mel.
Yee.
Yee.
Let's go watch Mel be bad at video games because at least I'm better than her. That's what I provide. Provide that.
No, but at the same time, like it's one of those things where so like what got you into streaming games?
Yeah. So a long time ago, at this stage of the game, what 2017,
Yeah.
I was selected to host Summer Showcase,
Mm,
which is a show on the internet about cool things that people make on the internet.
yeah.
And I was like, I want to make sure that I am representing all parts of the community, at least in a way that is accurate and not pulling things out of my butt. So I spent some time trying to stream and just to learn what it was like to stream.
Yeah.
Because I had never done streaming personally.
Yeah.
Most of the other mediums I've dabbled in potentially shitty ways. So I've tried, but streaming was the one I hadn't really done yet. So I tried it, fell in love with it, and just kept doing it.
Nice.
Again, it's mostly just for funsies. I raise money for charity, so I don't take any of the money off my stream. It's charity stream only. So I do that for every month. We rotate and change it out because I'm not the biggest of streamers, so I don't get paid every single month because that's how Twitch works. Fun fact. But when I do get paid out, we automatically just donate it to charity.
Right, very cool. Like, what are some charities that you've done with the money that you've gotten from stream?
Well, this week is birthday week, so we were doing the LA City Year, which is a charity in Los Angeles that basically raises monies for low-income schools. Obviously, with COVID, a lot of those schools are having to figure out how to go online, and they don't have the resources, they don't have the tools, they don't have the setups. A lot of times, their students don't have those setups at home. So it's an organization that kind of helps amplify the Los Angeles school district or Los Angeles schools in Los Angeles. Big one that we did back in June was Black Lives Matter. We did a whole month in which myself and my husband matched $1,000. So we raised a total of $3,000 over the course of the month that we donated to the Legal Defense Fund. That's
Legal Defense Fund, nice.
Yeah, so that we raised that while playing Breath of the Wild.
Oh wow,
that was a big one.
Very cool.
We've done the Trevor Project a couple of times around Pride usually. We've done Parkinson's cure because my dad had Parkinson's. Bunch of random things.
That's awesome.
LA Food Bank.
LA Food. And that's really cool because like I didn't know that. Like I didn't know that like like when it came to the streaming, the funds went to what was it? Yeah, went to the charities. That's really cool. Like seriously.
Yeah.
Like
I like it.
So I met you at WonderCon, and I've proceeded to meet you at several mini cons afterwards. Did you have an interest in what is it, conventions, video game conventions, anime conventions before working for Riot, or like was it like it came with a job?
Yeah, so I grew up in this wonderful state of Wisconsin, and then I moved to California in 2013 after I graduated from college. And I don't know how much you all know about the state of Wisconsin, but there's not a ton of conventions in the state of Wisconsin. I think there's like one the entire year. So I hadn't really gone to a ton of conventions, but I'd always heard of things like PAX, E3, et cetera, and didn't really have the funds nor capability to be able to go to them. So then when I moved to California, we started like nerding. We went to Anime Expo. I think was the first convention I had ever gone to, period, which is not a good convention to go to as your first convention because it's huge. I went to Anime Expo in 2015. I was not in costume. I was just running around and being a goober with my friends, and it was super fun, and I absolutely loved it. And then when I started working at Riot, I was originally in recruiting and asked to help with PAX because, you know, whenever you're at an event like PAX, having an HR comms person there to help answer questions is super helpful. And then they just kind of kept asking me to come over and over and over again. And then I decided, what if I also dress up in costumes while I do it? And then they let me do that, which is a crazy idea.
What
do it anyways?
What was the first convention that you cosplayed at then?
First convention I cosplayed at was probably Anime Expo 2016.
Very cool.
So the one after that, and then Worlds thereafter. But I had like in college, my college degree is communications and theater. So I've made costumes and built props and built sets before, but from a very different mindset. It was obviously for theater and film and that kind of thing. So it was a little different of a direction. But then I was like, what if I do this for other stuff? And that is what, ta-da, I did it.
Cosplay. Awesome. That's really cool because I didn't know that that you were a theater and communications. Did you have a particular like interest in theater? Like
yeah. So I've been an absolute obnoxious piece of poop since I was a child. Like that's what I like to describe it as. Like people pay attention to me. Thank you.
So you were like a theater kid, like
yeah. yeah, 1000%. Like,
Nice.
I could never sing. I was never a good singer, but I'd still try, and I still participated in it. I was also giant child, so like, I really didn't get cast in a whole bunch. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I was 5'2" by the time I was 8, and I have not grown since I was 12.
Oh.
So you can't really cast a 6 foot tall 12-year-old in like normal 12-year-old roles. So I was always the comic relief. I was
Okay.
always the silly character because, again, I was gigantic compared to every other child on the stage, which is fine. It was great. I just had fun with it.
No, that's.
I fell through a hole on the stage one time. That's my
Oh.
fun.
I fell into the what was it, the orchestra
The
pit.
pit?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that was not fun. Jeez.
No, don't do that.
Yeah.
There was it was in middle school. My middle school stage was in the gym, and it had one of those like dividers that could open up across the entire gym. So they had the stage in the center that could lift up.
Yeah.
So the divider could go across the gym. And in the middle of a dance number, the guy I was dancing with accidentally flipped open part of the center of the stage, and I just fell in a hole. It was great.
Jeez.
Don't do that.
Did you injure yourself, or was it like just?
Oh
like...
yeah, I ripped my entire dress on stage. Like I bruised my leg pretty bad, but I just pulled myself out of the hole, closed the hole, and just kept going. It was fine.
The show must go on.
We just did it. Don't worry about it. My dress is falling off. It's cool. Don't worry about it.
So what are some of your favorite like stage productions, like growing up and like currently, if
I don't know anything currently because I'm a poop who doesn't pay attention to anything current. I did a lot of like straight plays versus musical plays because I also played violin. I was that I don't know how to describe this other than I was the child that did everything. Because I was in a by California standards, I was in a small town. So I just did a lot of things. So I played violin. So that meant in the musicals, I was always in the pit instead of on the stage because they needed me in the pit. But we did straight plays and things like that. I was in a version of The Hound of the Baskervilles in which I played an old lady. That was super fun. I was in a production of Wojciech in which I was a BDSM circus horse that fed the audience peas. Like literally, I had to walk around and hand out peas in cups, like the PEA, not PEE.
Yeah,
to be clear. The food, not the other thing. And I would hand that out to the audience as a part of the interactive show, and they would eat peas with us. It was great. I recommend that.
That's awesome! Holy shit! Yeah. So communications theater. You what prompted you to like apply to Riot with that degree?
Yeah, I've been the type of person that just, I don't know how to describe this nicely, so I'm not going to. Doesn't have much direction in life. I kind of just vibe and do whatever I currently feel like doing. So a lot of the career that I have built has been like stepping stones, one after another, of like this was related to this job, and then this job was related to this job, et cetera, et cetera. So when I was in college, because I realized that I was a communications and theater major and I still needed to eat lunch, I got jobs to be able to pay my way through school doing sales and marketing. So I used to be the annoying people that called you up to ask you to donate to the university.
Oh.
Everybody loves those people. That was me. So I did that job all the way through college. And then when I moved to Los Angeles, my now husband and I prepaid for 3 months. We had a 3-month sublet. We were like, we got to figure our shit out in 3 months. Otherwise, we're going home. Luckily, he landed a job in IT. So we could stick around. It was great.
Good job, Nick.
And then I used the fact that I did sales and marketing to start working for a staffing agency, which is an outside recruiting firm where if you're a small business and you don't have an HR team and you want to hire some people, or you need a receptionist because your receptionist called in sick, but your entire office is like 6 people, you could call into us and we would do all the HR management of hiring for you.
Yeah.
It's half sales, half recruiting. So it's half my job to convince you to use our services, and then half my job to then go find someone to fit your needs so you keep using our services. So obviously sales job led to sales job. And then I was like, well, I don't really like the sales job part. Recruiting's cool, I guess. But I don't really care about doing it for this place. Like, this place is fine, but it's not like the most amazing place in the entire world.
Yeah.
So I had been playing video games since I was old enough to hold a controller, knew that Riot was hiring for a bunch of recruiting jobs, and just applied on the internet like a cool kid,
Mm.
and then got a job in recruiting. Ta-da! Yeah. Okay.
That's very cool because like what is it with when it comes to like different people that I talk to, like it's always like there's like all these stepping stones to get to where they
Yeah.
are, you know, and like
I feel like everybody has stepping stones, but more people have plans. I
mm,
don't know if I'm good at the planning part of the like. I've never been a little kid. And maybe you were like this, where you were a little kid and you like thought about what you wanted to be when you grew up. Never
yeah.
really had that. Really did that part. I
Oh
just
no, I was the one that stumbled around. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah.
I went from becoming like a chemical engineer to a drummer in an indie band to
Nice.
a front end programmer to quitting that to becoming a photographer. Then
Hey.
became an e-commerce specialist, and then stayed an e-commerce specialist. Now I'm like doing stand-up comedy, podcasting, and photography, and it's weird. So I'm all over the place.
Gotta do what you gotta do. I think
Exactly.
when I was a child, I wanted to be a farmer, a
Really?
lady farmer. When I was a child, I specifically wanted to be a lady farmer because I am old and I just turned 30. And back in the 90s, the farmers were not portrayed as female. So I assumed you had to be a man to be a farmer. So I thought you had to specify that I was going to be a lady farmer, not a male farmer. That's what I thought of when I was 5. You're welcome. I did not do that.
Wait,
Not a lady farmer.
did you grow up on a did you grow up on a farm or
No,
like?
nope, not at all. I grew up in like a farming community, but
Hmm.
my mom's a teacher. My dad was an accountant. Like normal people living their lives. And I was like, I'm gonna be a lady farmer, which in hindsight sounds like I'm farming women.
Yeah.
I'm not farming women. Don't do that. That's not a thing. Don't do that.
that's
That's
what,
right now.
that's um oh, that's funny. That's awesome though. And it brought you to who you are now. When it comes,
Yes.
yeah, when it comes to like fictional series, it could be anime, it could be comic books, it could be like video games and whatnot. Like, what are
Mhm.
like some mediums that like you enjoy on your downtime and like whatever influences in your life.
I mean, obviously, I am a huge video game nerd through and through. Again, I've said it a couple times. I have been a child, like not even old enough to not piss myself, and I'd be holding a controller.
Hmm.
So video games are huge. My favorite video game franchise of all time is Legend of Zelda.
Hmm.
So much so that it's actually on my engagement ring
Oh, nice.
from my husband. So it's actually etched into the design on the side of my engagement ring. So
Oh.
very cool. Um, Obviously, I like League of Legends a little bit, and I don't maybe, but that's fine. um, and then Mass Effect is my husband's favorite game. It's also one of my favorite games of all
Very cool.
time. I tend to. I'm never current on anything. I kind of suck in that regard. Like people will be like, "Oh, did you see the new season of Attack on Titan?" I'm like, "I just finished season 1. Nice to meet you. How's it going?" Wow, Aaron's pretty cool. I like Mikasa. She's sweet. Like I'm just always super behind on everything.
That's
I check that up to just not being able to keep track of stuff.
that's completely fine, and that's awesome to hear because when it comes when it comes to it, like, were there any like anime series that you watched growing up that like
So I mean, Sailor Moon, like every
mm,
other child, especially female child in America, watched
mm,
a lot of Sailor Moon. It's not technically an anime, but I'll still fight you on it. Avatar: The Last Airbender, I watched when I was growing up.
it's still a phenomenal solid series.
Yeah. Even though it's not technically an anime. I don't know. I grew up in a household where it was a lot more like Disney
Hmm.
than like I didn't even watch Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network growing up.
Yeah.
Uh, just I don't particularly know why. I just watched a lot of Disney instead.
Hmm.
So that was a lot of the things that I remember growing. Like Timon and Pumbaa, the TV show.
Oh
Wow,
yeah.
does that shit slap?
That
Like I don't
is
know why.
that shit
That's the
slaps.
thing that I
No,
remember.
it's a good ass show. I watched the fuck out of that show.
I'm trying to remember what other ones were on when I was a kid.
Cause like okay, so like this is really weird, but there's only 2 times that I cried during Kingdom Hearts 3, and
I've
it's
never played Kingdom Hearts, but
yeah.
I'll trust you on it.
So like One of which was like a really cool scene, and I was like, oh, that's really beautiful that they did that. The second one was fucking when they went to the Winnie the Pooh world, and it was it was the Winnie the Pooh from the TV series in the 90s. Like
Yeah, I remember that TV show.
yeah, that TV show was my childhood. So like when they went like cuz like the Winnie the Pooh before like in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, it was like the book version. And like I didn't identify with that. But then when they brought in the TV version of Winnie the Pooh, like it teared me up because I was like, "Oh man, I didn't know I needed this in my life."
They realized that the nostalgia button they needed to hit was a little later and not like the 1970s.
Exactly.
Those people don't play Kingdom Hearts.
But yeah, that was like a really random aside because like I grew up on Disney too. Like Winnie the Pooh, the Timon and Pumbaa movie is really cool. Remember the sing along? Remember the sing along tapes that they released? Like
yes,
that I
sang along editions of it. I never owned any of them, but I remember them existing.
Yeah,
I remember wanting them. But I never got them.
I felt that was like my Filipino parents like just indoctrinating our me and my cousins to love karaoke.
Nice. It's like, yo, this is a part of your heritage. You must enjoy this.
You must enjoy this. I like
this is the child version.
We do karaoke so much that we attest that like we're the proprietors of it, even though it's Japanese as hell. But yeah. I digress. When it came to that, like, and then like my favorite Disney movie of all time is Brink.
I don't think I've seen that movie.
It's a roller skating one, like the what is it, Team Pup and Suds.
Oh yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's a brain cell that I haven't used in like 30 years. Wow. Still exists. It's still there. Got it.
Yeah.
I remembered. That's on me, not on you, man. That's on me.
No, I always love saying that because it's like they're like, really, Brink, and I'm like, yeah, dude, Brink slaps.
I do. I just remember being a child, and like watching The Beauty and the Beast, and taking an encyclopedia and pretending that was the book that Belle had, and just marching around my living room while watching the movie. I also did the same thing to The Hunchback of Notre Dame, but that one's a very different theme, a very different theme of movie. Yeah. Don't do that, children. Don't try to project yourself in A Hunchback of Notre Dame. You can do that with Beauty and the Beast. Do that. That one's safe. That one's the high quality one. So I would do that. I don't know why.
No, that's crazy. That's awesome. Like, what is it? So we talked about how you got into nerd culture, how you got your job, and whatnot. And what was it? There's one instance that was really interesting, and that was I forgot what it was. But you're hosting something, and then Tyler One was there, and they had a picture of you and Tyler One, and it blew up on the internet. So like, can you speak on like what that event was, and like and like how
he's apparently my son now, according to the internet. I've given birth to a child who is not that much younger than me, apparently, according to the internet. So TLDR, it was 2018. It was TwitchCon, which was the first TwitchCon event that we had done as an organization, as a company. And fun fact, TwitchCon is usually the end of September, beginning of October. And there's another event that typically ends up being about the end of September, beginning of October, called Worlds. So what that meant is all the actual talent for the LCS was busy in Korea at Worlds, putting on Worlds. So we were borrowing and stealing and trying to find casters. So I think we found like 3 casters who weren't doing the event, 4 casters. We just kept rotating them the whole day. And they're like, we need someone to be on stage interview host, Mel. Congratulations, you're in charge now. And I'm like, all right, here I go. Because I had briefly done Summoner Showcase. And I was like, I know these influencers. I'm managing the show. All right, let's do this. So I bought a dress off Amazon for $20. I woke up at like 5:30 in the morning and went to the event. The zipper on the dress immediately broke, and I had to get sewn into it because it was a shitty $20 dress off of Amazon. And little did I know that that would be the dress that for the rest of my life would be the only dress I'm ever allowed to wear ever in public. Is the $20 dress from Amazon. It's a great dress. Do not get me wrong. But it's a $20 Amazon
dress.
Yeah, so what it was a show match with a bunch of streamers. And so the two headliner streamers were I'm a Cutie Pie and Tyler One. And so we did a little bit of an interview. It's not the greatest of interviews in my part, where they were basically just shit talking each other.
Yeah.
And for some reason, there's just a moment in which Tyler looks up at me, and that has been immortalized for the rest of my life, probably. The end. And that's all. He was just looking at me, and the internet thought that was great.
And then they clipped it, they memed it so much, and then now everyone's like, who's the girl?
I think it started on Tumblr. At least that's where I got it from. So like, hilariously, if you go, because there is an official Know Your Meme page.
Yeah.
For this, it was originally called Tyler One Looking Up at Mel Capperino-Garcia.
Yeah.
Which is a mouthful. So it changed to Short Tyler One. That's the new name of the meme. So if you look at they always do the entomology of where the meme started and like the history of how it blew up. And it started on Tumblr with somebody who just screenshotted it and then slightly edited the image to make him look shorter.
Yeah.
And then that blew up on Tumblr. And then someone sent it to me, and then I posted about it. So apparently I also fueled the own meme by being excited about it and thinking it was hilarious. And then like a week later, it was on Reddit. And then that is how the internet is born.
And then the Redditors had a time with it.
Yeah.
But
it was on Meme Economy. Was the first one. And
I didn't know that they did a whole etymology on Know Your Meme. That's crazy.
Know Your Meme page. If you want to know where any meme came from, my dudes, it is right there. You can find out where it was first posted. They never credit the original creator of the meme, which makes me sad because I want to know who it was. Like if you're out there, human, not that you're probably going to see this, but if you're out there, I would like to shake your hand. That's all.
What? Well, it's just like the one.
But
it's like the one person that watches my interviews, and they're like, "Yeah, I was the one."
Like this is my moment.
She's asking.
You're like, that's what the original tweet was. Is like, who made these? I need to know who you are.
Yeah.
And no one has ever claimed them, and I still to this day want to know who did the first screenshot, who took that screenshot, who put it on Tumblr. I need to know who you are. Thanks.
I'm for it. It's like yeah, no, that's cool. But after it came a meme, then like all these like people go like, oh, who is her? Who is she?
Yes.
And then was it your IG started blowing up? You like your like
yeah. I went from because it blew up originally like a couple months after TwitchCon, so it would have been November 2018, somewhere around that time. I was in Australia when it blew up, so I was extra confused because I was in a different time zone. So I went from like 1,700 followers on Instagram to by Christmas hitting over 10K.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? And the best part about that is 90% of the comment sections on the internet to this day don't know who I am. They still are like debating whether or not I'm Shocks in the comment section every time. Like my favorite is it came up on wholesome memes like a month ago.
Yeah.
And I always get tagged in them at this point. So I just jump in and say hi at me every time.
Yeah.
Hi at me every time. And then one dude will be like, oh shit, it's actually her. And then some other dude will start fighting them, being like, no, it's Shocks. And I'm like, what do you need from me?
Hey.
Hi. It's not her. You look very different. We are very different humans.
I'm from Wisconsin. She's from Europe.
I'm also like realistically like 5 dress sizes bigger than that girl. Like there's no way she's gained that much weight that fast. Like you saw her 2 days ago. Like big difference in body type, my dude. Like even if you're like, oh, is girl, like she's like a size like 4 America, and I'm a size like 12 America. Like, she did not blow up that big that quickly, my dude.
What is it? Hey, it's it's a really cool problem to have that like people are confusing you with trucks. Just saying.
Oh yeah. I think it's hilarious. She had to post about it on her Instagram story when the meme was blowing up at one point. She's like, "It's not me, guys."
It's not me. Like
Sorry.
like there I've seen you cosplay very much.
Yes.
I met you as Timo, and
Yee.
and I took pictures of your Star Guardian Jinx, which is still one of my favorite
Mhm.
pictures. Like you when I said like give me an unhinged like look, you're like you went for it. And it was so dope.
Yeah, I would say that if I were a photo shoot style, it would be ridiculous and over the top and
Mm.
not cool or
Mm.
sexual or interesting in any other way other than, "Hi, I'm a ham. Welcome. Pay attention to me." That is what I do on camera. Hello. Nice to meet you.
But no, but I love that energy. It's one of those things where like when you get into like the wacky vibe, it's like
Yeah.
it's a genuine mood that you have.
Yeah, I like to be whether it's big personality or big physically
Yeah.
characters. That's what I like to do.
So like, what are some cosplays that like you'd want to do in the future? Like just like off the top of your head.
Yeah, well, there's one that I've been working on, and I use that with giant air quotes in COVID because I haven't done anything for it because COVID is a killer for motivation. No deadlines means I don't do shit. But I want to do Yasha from Critical Role. I don't know if you're familiar with that
Oh.
franchise at all, but it is a Dungeons and Dragons live stream.
Hmm.
I didn't mention this earlier. I'm a huge Dungeons and Dragons fan. I've been
Really?
playing since I was 16 years old.
Oh.
I am a DM in 3 campaigns currently right now. So I want to do Yasha, which is the larger than life barbarian Asimir woman.
Mm.
So she's supposed to be like 6 foot plus, giant wings, etc. So all gothic, all black, very over the top. So I purchased fabric, literally hilarious the week that we went into COVID and all the conventions got canceled. So I spent like $500 on fabric for this costume for conventions in the summer, and then those totally happened. So I still have the fabric sitting behind me that I haven't touched. I also purchased these wings, these skeleton, the base for skeleton wings.
Yeah.
That because I'm such a big person, I'm 6 feet, are 11 feet in diameter.
Yeah.
In order to create the correct proportions.
Mm-hmm.
And then we 3D printed the sword, which is about 5'5"
That is
in length.
That's sick.
So that's all I've done so far is just buy fabric, get giant wings, and print sword.
That's crazy. So
but someday that'll be a costume.
So
okay.
No, I feel that because like what so you're really into Dungeons and Dragons because that's really cool because like when it comes down to it like I'm such a casual nerd about Dungeons and Dragons. Like I only played in like 1.5 campaigns, and I say half because like that like I played in a 3.5 edition campaign. That was my very first campaign, and then the second campaign was the 5 edition, with the with cantrips and whatnot, and it sucks because like I didn't care what role I was in the second campaign. Like all I wanted was vicious mockery.
Yeah.
And like, but then like, as I was role playing this damn character, I realized I don't know how to insult people that well.
I mean,
so
you don't have to be good at it. You just have to do it.
And you just have to roll for it. And like the meme with my Dungeons and Dragons crew, like when we played, was that I was the archer that didn't hit shit.
Oh, that's the worst.
It's like
the worst.
So we did a little homebrew, and so my the first campaign I was an archer, but I homebrewed it so that I was a Rastafarian ranger. It's really stupid.
I mean, I'm down.
Yeah.
I like stupid shit.
So when I summon a nature familiar, it was depending on my role, it had the it came out with a certain grade of weed, and then
That's amazing.
I had a channeling thing of whether or not I wanted to smoke said weed, and like if I got like a double 20, I was able to get like Dragonborn Kush, which gave me like
Amazing.
Barbarian Rage.
That's hilarious.
And it's,
That's amazing.
but then like it was so stupid because like I rolled that double 20 for the nature familiar roll, and like
Yeah.
so I'm coming from doing RPGs like JRPGs like Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
I've never really played like a role playing one. So like the first thing I noticed, like I was like, okay, this is like an RPG, right? So where's like a field of boars I could like grind and like get levels.
Very different.
So
Very different.
and like what is it throughout the whole campaign? Was it like the DM's like, no, you're it's there's no field of boars, like
Yeah.
you're at a pub, there's different people, talk to them. I'm like, I want my field of boars, to the point where like the DM's like, all right, you guys get to the castle, but in front of the castle there's a field of boars.
Sometimes what they want. Sometimes they just want field boars. Sometimes what you gotta do, you gotta do.
Yeah.
To me, Dungeons and Dragons, I always describe it as role playing with rules.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when you were a kid and you did like cops and robbers or some shit, or you pretended to be Sailor Moon or something. But there's actually rules around those things, and like you have to follow the rules. You can't just be like, nah, I have the anti-gun of anti-ness and I just shoot you. Like you can't just do that. You have like rules.
Yeah.
So I always describe Dungeons and Dragons as make believe, but with rules.
Got it. And sorry for going off on tangents. Like this is like
I don't care. Dungeons and Dragons is a great tangent. 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
we talk about all the time.
Yeah, this is like sort of like triggering a lot of like memories. But when it comes to like DMing a Dungeons and Dragons like campaign, like what's your DM style like? Are you more like murder hobos?
I am fluffy bullshit all the time.
Really?
So yeah. So I've described when I first sit down with a new group, I like to explain to them ahead of time my particular style. My particular style is that it is not just my story, it is everybody's story that we are playing and doing together. So if you want to go on a tangent to talk to the goddamn baker for 30 minutes about absolutely nothing, man, am I here for it.
Really?
That baker is going to have a story. That baker's going to do a thing. Is that baker going to have anything important to say? Nah, but we'll be here if you want to do that. Sounds great, right? I'm not very like, I like to give people the space to do with what they want with it. I'm more roleplay focused than like massive combat focused.
Got it.
Good example is I am doing a once a month campaign set in ancient Greece with my friends.
Yeah.
And they just came up a mountain and there was two giants fighting.
Yeah.
And I set this up specifically as you don't even have to talk to them if you don't want to. You can just keep walking down the street.
Yeah.
It's fine. So they just started walking down the street and they tried to be sneaky about it so they wouldn't notice. And I'm like, well, he's going to notice you because you've got a paladin who is not very quiet. That's fine. So then they asked them their opinion about their argument.
Yeah.
So that in and of itself was not necessarily a combat encounter. Eventually turned into a combat encounter because they couldn't figure out how to fuse the two giants screaming at each other. But the idea was just, hey, here's a story-based moment or a story-based thing that you can choose to fight, you can choose to ignore, you can just do whatever you want with.
Oh, that's amazing.
But I've been playing D&D since I was in high school.
Yeah.
And then I've been exclusively a DM since college, so like 2011, 2012, around that time. So I am primarily a DM and not play as much. Every once in a while, I'll be a player in campaigns, but most of the time, I'm a DM.
Got it. No, that's
for better or for worse.
That's really cool because like I noticed that like different people have different DM styles.
Yeah.
Like my DM, he was very influenced by Otome games. So basically like he had a bunch of NPCs that he wrote out, and then like you would grind rep with them, like if you wanted to bring them along for the adventure, it would be like they would have like stupid quirks that would be pluses or minuses for it and whatnot. But it was cool. Like I dug it. Is that like I just know that like there's a moment where like I know that he's invested in like certain characters,
Yes.
and like me and my
Yeah.
friends are relentless trolls.
So you're just trying to murder them.
Yeah, no, not murder them, but more of just like, you know what? He's lame. I want I want the little baker that you had like back there. Like he seems really
See,
cool.
that's why you just gotta make the baker really cool.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
some of my favorite NPCs were just people I pulled out of my butt
Yeah.
because they were like, I want to go talk to this person, and I'm like, I don't know what that person's name is, but let's fucking make it up. And those are some of my favorites. And then they just declare them their favorite. One of my campaigns is there's a girl who is a sailor.
Yeah.
And she grew up living on her father's boat, and she had to leave her father's boat to be a part of the campaign. And she kept asking questions about some of the other sailors on the ship, and I'm a dumbass who didn't plan well and didn't prep lists of other sailors that are on her ship, something that I probably should have prepped.
Yeah.
So I decided there was this one guy named Steve who she just really didn't like, and he was in love with her.
Yeah.
Like everywhere she went, like, and so I just pull him out every once in a while, and he just shows up. He's just like, "Hi, I've gotten enough dowry to marry you now. Will you marry me?" And he just like produces like 200 gold, which in like Dungeons and Dragons world, that's a lot of gold.
Yeah.
But like to an adventuring party, that's not that much gold. And so she'll be like, "No, it's not enough gold." And he's like, "I will have enough gold one day." And then he just like leaves. And then he comes back again with like a boat. He owns a boat now, and he's trying to get her to marry him. And she's like, "No." It's great. Like,
Yeah.
it's those weird little characters that are off to the side that are my favorites.
Yeah.
I will also say I'm a very strange person, so maybe not. Maybe that sounds like a weird stalker scenario, but that makes it more fun for me.
No, exactly. No, like it's funny because like you're able to as a DM take little things and like and make it a motif or like a reoccurring instance in the story, which is pretty fucking cool. Like,
He actually turned out to be vitally important a couple of times. Like,
really?
he told them like her dad was missing and like kidnapped in a brothel, and the only way they found out that happened is because Steve told them. Like, he's turned out to be important. Sometimes you gotta give them their moments. The creepy stalker Steves. Gotta have them give them their moments.
Has there ever been an instance where like you're DMing things, DMing a situation, but then like they were just rolling so bad that yeah, like
yeah,
it was
1,000%.
yeah, like do you
1,000%. Trying to remember one specifically off the top of my head. I think my favorite moment. So there was a ship battle.
Yeah.
And essentially, we had a mechanic in which, through whatever means, there could only be one captain of a ship, and this captain was magically tied to the boat. And when you killed the captain of the boat, you became the captain of the boat, right?
Yeah.
Well, one of my players was already captain of another boat, and they were battling another boat, and they then killed that captain, so he became captain of two boats. Which I wasn't sure 100% what happened. So I just decided that he was dying. I just decided that was the solution, is that you can't be the captain of two boats and you're now actively dying. But I didn't tell that to my players. I just texted the guy. I just said he falls unconscious. And then I texted him and said, "By the way, you're dying." And then asked him to just keep rolling D20s, not telling the rest of the party what it was. And they were death saves. And he rolled one very badly. And then his two friends that were on the boat with him trying to figure out what was going on were panicking because there was a bunch of other there were a bunch of pirates descending upon them on the boat that they killed the captain on. And neither of them are magic users. And so they had the brilliant idea of pulling out a fireball scroll and just casting it to see what happens to the bad guys. So I made them roll for it because we have a ranger and a fighter. Neither of them are magic users. So they both roll, and they both roll horribly. So what that means is the fireball explodes on their face.
Yeah.
Which is also on the body of their friend. So he just straight up dies. He is now dead. He is now a corpse on the ground next to them. They have no idea that he's a corpse. I just texted him like, "Okay, you're dead now. Please don't react until I tell them that you're dead." No. So I let them finish the combat encounter. And they're like, "We walk over to our friend and try to figure out why he's unconscious." I'm like, "You're holding a corpse." And they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "You killed him with the fireball. He is dead." This is a dead man. So I just hid from them the entire time while they finished their combat, that they just killed their friend.
Oh.
Great. Don't worry, he
Jeez.
got better.
Yeah.
Didn't do shit, but they killed their friend.
Yeah. No, like I remember dying a couple times in D&D, and it's always like it's a weird thing because like, all right, so the first campaign I had, like I specifically had I was rolling a black half elf ranger. Now I died. Like
Rip.
I rolled a 1 on it was like an ultimate attack. I was like, there's a saving throw. I rolled a 1. I'm dead. Now
Right.
I went from being a black half elf, and then like the orc leader takes my soul essence and says, okay, like pick a body, and I'm able to save you. So
Yeah.
I was like, is there any white elves? And like they're like, yeah. So I kept my charisma, my intelligence, and my wisdom, but then I had to re-roll my constitution,
Yeah.
my
Your
dexterity,
physical
and strength. Yeah,
stats.
physical traits. But then I I went from my character name to like when I went to like the new body, I renamed my character Mikey J.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so I was like,
You know, character death is always, I think it tells more story than not. Some people try to avoid it at all costs.
yeah,
Personal opinion, I let the player decide whether or not they truly die or not.
yeah,
Because in Dungeons and Dragons, there's 1,001 ways you can bring back a character. Right?
yeah,
Especially at higher levels. Like one of my campaigns, my players are level 13, so
yeah.
like they could bring somebody back to life if they wanted to. But my rule is always it's up to the player to decide whether their character comes back or not. So he decided he wanted to come back in that moment, but there was always a possibility or a world where like he didn't, and then you just come up with something else, and it's great. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, like we were speed running like the first campaign, just like the P's are like super, like just for like the to appease our like we need to like be super powered and like all that crazy stuff, and like he gave us like the auxiliary class to like ranger,
Yeah.
and like I was like an arcane ranger and whatnot, like
Yeah.
stuff like that. So remember when I said that like I kept rolling horribly?
Yeah.
It got to the point where, because like the skill tree that I unlocked for my class, like I needed to roll good to do crazy amount of combos to do crazy damage, but I could only do like the way I was rolling, I could only do like a 2-hit combo or 3-hit combo, and this combo could go up to like 50 hits, whatnot. So
Yeah.
so it got to the point where like my friend's like, all right, like, and he had a NPC show up that was my class, and like the way he described it was that he did the full combo to show me like how cool this character is, because I was complaining on like this build sucks.
It's boring.
It's boring. And it's like he brought in an NPC to go like, see how much damage he does. This is what happens if you roll good. I'm like, still sucks.
Yeah.
But I digress. Like when you first played, what was your first character?
A bard. I think my very first one was a bard. So I started learning Dungeons and Dragons in 4th edition.
Really?
So I learned 4th, DM'd 4th, played 3.5, DM'd 3.5, and then DM'd and played in 5. So I did the backward step. 4th is, in my opinion, a version that you can skip. It is okay. It is not worth going back for.
No,
I think that's the general consensus.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, oh wow, you like, cause like I've never heard anyone like actually like play 4th. It's always like
I started and learned on 4th. That's where I started. The nice thing about 4th, I would say, is that they try to make combat much more dynamic and interesting for all classes, regardless of whether you're a spellcaster or not, because they added in encounter-based abilities, which you could use once per encounter, daily based abilities, which are once per day, and I think there was like one more.
Mm.
There was like, and anybody got them. So like a fighter would have an encounter-based ability that's similar to like a battle master's maneuvers,
Yeah.
but anybody, you could specifically choose them and do them. So everybody, when you leveled up, you got to pick more encounter abilities. So they tried to make it a little more dynamic and interesting for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
The problem, in my opinion, is they over-indexed on combat, and then the role-playing aspect was really hard and really tedious, and
Really?
it didn't give as much space for creative role play. It was just like so combat focused of a system
Oh.
that it felt more like you were playing World of Warcraft on paper. And that to me, that's not why I play Dungeons and Dragons. Like, because if I want to go play World of Warcraft, I'm gonna go play World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Right. Dungeons and Dragons started before video games existed, right?
Yeah.
So that's probably where the mentality came from of like, oh, being able to show off all your cool fantasy and moments. But you don't need a 1-to-1 translation of video games anymore.
Yeah.
So you needed to have something else. And that's what I think the problem was with 4.
God.
Random aside tangent about my review of the 4th edition of Dungeons and Dragons. Welcome, Wizards of the Coast, for that free review. 5th is much better. Thanks.
So, as DM and avid player, like say if they made a 6th edition,
mm-hmm.
what would you want to for them to like put into the?
I like what they tried to do with 4 with making the non-magic classes more interesting. Right now, playing a barbarian or playing a fighter or playing a non-magic class gets really boring at certain levels.
Yeah.
Like once you're past like level 8, it's not the most exciting of things, and you're kind of just mindlessly doing the same shit over and over again. Versus like spellcasters, it can feel impactful every time you level up, and non-spellcasters, I don't feel like it's as impactful. So to me, that would be a huge thing to play with and toy with, is how do you make your non-spellcasters feel just as awesome on level ups as your spellcasters do. That to me is a big thing. Also, rangers, god damn it, those things need to be balanced. They're so boringly undertuned. They are underpowered right now. Rangers are so underpowered.
You're telling me an avid ranger user, just because I was
we have a person in my party who's a ranger, and I'm constantly having to give her like magic items that are way too high for her class in order just to give her the feeling of accomplishment of actually doing something, because I just feel like she can't do very much. That's okay.
Oh, I feel that.
Also, maybe take a little bit of the racism out.
Oh yeah.
That might be cool.
That was
a little bit of the racism out.
No, that was a real thing though, because like what was it?
Oh, it's in every, for lack of a better term, Western RPG.
Yeah.
Like even Skyrim, if you look at though it's not actually like technically racist in the way that our world thinks about it, but the core of it is that you have certain attributes based off of your race. Like you are smarter because of your race, or you're stronger because of your race.
Yeah.
Which in Dungeons and Dragons world, they're mostly trying to say you're stronger or smarter based off of your species.
Yeah.
But then you get into things like elves, where it's like the dark elves are more cunning and evil and automatically supposed to be evil because they are like that. Like that's where it gets a little awkward and strange.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Just figuring out ways to change your stories so it's not just, oh, you were born as a dark elf, congratulations, you're evil and you live underground, you worship a spider. Bye.
Nice. Probably the one thing that I love thinking about more than anything is just like, what is it? The one aspect of Dungeons & Dragons I love thinking about is character alignments and how it applies to the fictional characters and actual people. And what
character alignments are great.
Yeah, what character alignment do you identify with?
I mean, in my actual everyday life, probably just like neutral good or lawful good.
Yeah.
I try to probably exude chaos energy, but at the end of the day, I'm not actually going to do that to anybody.
Yeah.
I'm too afraid of consequences to my actions to do that. So I don't.
Oh no, I feel that. Like what is it? I think like growing up, I was like, I wanted to be the Han Solo, so I was like chaotic neutral. Like I'm like,
I'm not cool enough to actively upset the apple cart. I try.
Yeah, like, but then like I started thinking about it, and like the chaotic neutral trope is like everyone wants to be that trope. Like everyone wants to be the mercenary that like cares
Well,
or
I would say it's also like if you think about it in the modern world, it's also your activists would be
yeah.
chaotic good, like
Hmm.
people who are organizing a protest
Yeah.
and not just attending a protest, but like the organizers of the
Organizers, yeah.
protests are the chaotic good characters,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's not just the Robin Hoods and the Han Solos of the world where they're trying to steal from the rich. Like Han Solo also is probably a more chaotic neutral than a chaotic good.
Yeah.
And he towards the end of his arc becomes chaotic good, but he starts chaotic neutral,
Yeah, no,
which is chaotic asshole. Um, but yeah, I would say like like activists or anybody who's really strong into any sort of cause would
yeah.
be very easily
Okay,
chaotic
good.
good, which is why I said I'm probably neutral good and that I like to support those causes, but I'm not cool enough
Yeah.
to or smart enough to know how to organize them myself.
But at the same time, it's really cool because like with your activism with your Twitch streams and donating
Yee.
to the said causes, that's really freaking cool.
Yeah, I'm the one donating to the causes, but I'm not the one making the causes because
Which-
I am not smart enough.
No, but
I'll be like, you're smarter than me. Here's money.
but still, like you play a part, and that's really cool. And it's like one of those things where like I have a whole comedy bit on character alignments, and like
Mm-hmm.
there people have two character alignments: the character alignment that they show towards other people, and then like their actual
Mm-hmm.
one. And I assert
Mm-hmm.
that I assert that everyone by default everyone acts lawful good, but then
Mm-hmm.
at their core they're true neutral.
I wouldn't say at the core everybody is true neutral.
Mm.
I would say like that's probably where babies start.
Yeah.
A baby is true neutral. Like you just popped out of a girl, the baby is neutral. But like the moment you start thinking for yourself and or having people around you act upon you, I think that starts to adjust and change.
So it could
Personally.
fluctuate.
And then we all pretend to be lawful good, and then there's the actual people of the world who are lawful good.
Exactly.
And then you're like, wow, magic.
And then like I say that different activities are a different like are require different like character alignments. Like when when it comes to like raising a child, like I say that the best parents are the neutral good like types, where they're not super lawful, not super chaotic, but they when it comes to raising the child, they're raising it for good, you know. But I digress. Like
I think everybody has like a slightly different persona that they put on depending upon the circumstances they're in.
exactly.
Exhibit A: watch people when they're around their parents. They are very different people than when they're not around their parents. Or when they go back to their hometown if they moved away, they're very different.
So how are you with your parents and when you go back to your hometown?
That feels like a heavy subject.
Got it. My bad.
Oh, my dad's dead.
Oh. Got it. Okay.
It's fine. I don't feel bad. I'm joking on it because I like to make you uncomfortable because it's funny for me. You're fine.
No. Like I was like, oh shit.
You're good. You're good. My hometown is a small town in Wisconsin of like 20,000 people, which by Wisconsin standards means it's massive. And it's very low income farm community. There's like 35 churches and 34 bars, and that's about it. That's about my hometown. So I once I graduated high school, I didn't really spend much time there.
Got it.
So.
Like I feel like the biggest convention that you would see at the town is like a Packers game.
I wouldn't qualify that as a convention. That's just like a party. That's just like some people. That's like you and I outside of COVID could probably outnumber them with our friends. Like, no shade, hometown. Not that anybody from there is ever gonna see this. Also, they have a YouTube channel. It's called Watertown TV.
Really?
I'm obsessed with it. They tell you the news of Watertown. There's this one video. There's two of my favorite videos on the Watertown TV. Shout out to the Watertown TV YouTube channel. But the first one is an advertisement for the city that was played in the movie theater in that city. So you had to be in that city at that movie theater to see an advertisement for the city that you were currently inside of. 10 out of 10. They also explain the theming of their brand, and the advertisement has credits. like all good advertisements do. And then my second favorite video is a long form piece that actually has an IMDb page called The Breath of Death. It is like an independent film that I think they paid for and put on their YouTube channel, but it is a magical journey from start to finish. Everybody needs to experience it at least once in their life, please.
I feel like I'm gonna be playing clips of like those videos at the bottom and like linking them as I go.
I'm sorry that this has turned into Mel's random podcast of random things that she enjoys, but shout out to The Breath of Death. You have an IMDb page and I don't, so I can't really throw much shade. Like,
hey,
you got one, I don't.
shout out to Watertown TV. You guys are doing the real work.
They turned off comments because of me. I want you to know that.
Really?
I kept fighting with my friend to write first on all of their YouTube videos, and then they stopped allowing comments on their YouTube videos, so I couldn't write first.
So you've clicked the bell for that.
Yeah, I am notified every time they post, but they stopped allowing comments, so I couldn't type first anymore. Their last video that they allowed comments on is almost a year old, and I would like to formally apologize to the city of Watertown for turning off your YouTube comment section. Please let me say first again. All I've ever done is say first. I've never insulted you or been mean. I've just said first. So, it's just a meme. Thanks.
Oh, shit.
Please let me have a pastime back.
Oh, no, that's awesome. Holy shit.
I think they have like 200 subscribers on YouTube, and I'm one of them. And most of their views come from me. And I love every second of it.
Do you know the person that set up that YouTube channel, or like the?
No, I do not. I have no idea who set it up, but I am their biggest fan. Watertown TV, please.
I'm gonna clip this going like Watertown. Go visit Watertown TV hometown.
I don't think that they have a Twitter or a Facebook or any social media really, so I don't think there's a way for us to contact them other than just going to their videos that are over a year old, because you can't comment on any of the new videos, and posting it there. That's the only way to communicate with them, because they turned off all the other comments.
Rip indeed. Holy shit. All right, so when it comes to it, we talked about different aspects: your job, cosplay, theater,
Watertown TV.
Worked on hometown Watertown TV. Go like and subscribe to Watertown TV. This is a call to action for that YouTube channel.
If you want to do nothing else today, please don't do that. Please actually just stay here and subscribe here and don't listen to me. But watch The Breath of Death and then be sad you don't have an IMDb page, but that guy does. Because I have an existential crisis every time I think about it. Okay, sorry, you were trying to talk about shit. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. This is great. So let's
If you're looking for advice, my advice is say yes to cool things and stand next to people who are shorter than you. It works out great.
There you go. And all right, so thank you, Mel, for coming on. This is easily the most I've laughed in during an interview. Like, seriously.
No, but seriously, if you're not watching Breath of Death after this, I will be very upset. I'll link it to you. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, no, like I need that link so I could put it in the video. And this is the beauty of recording, so I could remove all the ums and all my ramblings. Yeah. But other than that, what was it? Where can the people find you? On the internet?
On the internet, most places. If you type in Swimbananas, it is me. Hello. Instagram, for some reason, I have to have an underscore on the end because I think I made a Swimbananas account and then it got deleted, but I can't claim it back anymore. So I'm Swimbananas underscore on Instagram. Everywhere else, I'm just Swimbananas. So have fun with that.
There you go. And that concludes episode 7 of Creative to Creative. Like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you subscribe and donate to Mel's Twitch whenever she does a stream. She donates to really cool causes, and you guys could feel better about your league play.
Now go watch the Breath of Death. Thank you.
There, you guys.